This is Brad Silverman of Kappa Studios, and you are watching the one and only SONset Friday live.
But let's talk about the Forge. So this is very black. So there's a lot of black people in this joint, you know?
I want to see dignity come back to the church.
What is your stance on Cameron kissing on film? Because I know there's some shorties out there who are like, yo, I wouldn't mind doing the kissing scene with Cameron. We need to talk about this.
Glory to God for good times, big laughs. The godly life we strive. Turn it up for the king right here on SONset Friday Live. Let's go. Hey. SONset Friday. SONset Friday. SONset Friday Live. Hey, SONset Friday. SONset Friday. SONset Friday Live.
What's good, you guys? Welcome to SONset Friday Live. I'm your host, Anthony.
And I'm Madonna.
And we appreciate you guys stopping by today. Listen, we're going to get right into it. We have an amazing couple with us today right here.
I'm so excited.
I'm really excited. Let me just tell you a little something about this guy real quick. But before I do, let's pop him on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. We have Cameron and BJ Arnett. Whoop, whoop. What's good? What's good? How you guys doing?
What's going on?
Look, listen, you guys. We actually had some technical difficulties to begin with. You know, the devil was trying to stop this thing. It took us a good, 20, 25 minutes to get it?
Felt like an hour, but we in this.
So you know what it feels like now when I'm waiting on you to go somewhere.
That's not usually that's not how it works, y'all.
No.
Yes, how we do. Listen, you guys. First of all, let me just tell you about this guy on the screen right here. Just a little bit about him. He's Cameron Arnett, aka I say Kami, but people say Cammy. He'll let you know which is the best way to do it. But he is a Haitian-born actor, author, speaker, and director. He carved out a successful career in arts and entertainment. And Cameron Arnett will actually be starring as Joshua Moore in the upcoming Christian film, Kendrick Brothers Christian film called The Forge, set to release in August 2024. He received the ICFF International Christian Film Festival, shout out to Marty and team, for a lifetime achievement. What year was that? Was that just this year, right?
Correct.
Just this year. Many projects. Just hit up his IMDb. I can't list them all because we'll be here all day, but hit up IMDb. He is all over the place. But other notable films I like to include is I Still Believe, which is a film by the Irwin brothers, as well as starring in Overcomer, another Kendrick Brothers #1 family film in 2019. And of course, Cameron's early television credits include Miami Vice, Star Trek, Next Generation, Doogie Howser, you know, all them good old school things that we love growing up, you feel me? And then lastly, of course, he also appeared in media outlets, Fox News, Movie Guide, etc., etc. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you Mr. Cameron Arnett.
Yes. Wow.
Whoop, whoop,
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, not to leave Mrs. Arnett out,
no.
I will do that introduction. Okay. So allow me to introduce the remarkable Mrs. BJ Arnett. You may know her from her days as the entertainment and lifestyle reporter at NBC 11 Alive, where she shined as the new day anchor. But her journey didn't stop there, you guys. Mrs. Arnett has also been hitting up the silver screen alongside her husband, Cameron, in the highly anticipated Kendrick Brothers film, The Forge, which, again, as Anthony said, will be hitting theaters this August. She's also gearing up for their upcoming documentary, He Calls Me Daughter. Professor Arnett isn't just making waves in the theater.
What?
Yes!
Professor
Arnett, okay?
Let's go!
She's also making moves as the chair of the art and fashion department at Clark Atlanta University, raising over $900,000 for the department in just the last 2 years, okay? Now, alongside her husband, Cameron, they are the masterminds behind the Atlanta-based Cameron Arnett Production Studios and the nonprofit Saving Destinies, Shaping the Future. So she is not only a force to be reckoned with in front of the camera, but behind the camera. So get ready to be blown away by Mrs. BJ Arnett. How was that? How we do, guys? How do we do?
Listen, we want to kick things off, you guys, with a little rapid fire. We want to do this with all our guests. We have a few rapid fire questions we want to throw at you guys. And I'm just going to actually do these. I'm going to start with you, Cameron. Cameron.
Yes.
What's something you've always wanted to learn but have not yet learned?
Wow. Something I've always wanted to learn. I haven't really mastered Spanish the way that I want to. I've always wanted to really just be fluent in it. And I'm kind of like, I guess, a quarter of the way there. But, so I'm looking to really get that under my skin within the next year or so.
BJ, listen, 5 dinner guests, dead or alive. 5 dinner guests at your house, dead or alive. Who's at your table eating with you?
Ooh, 5 dinner. Jesus.
All right.
Gotcha.
Alive and alive. Oh, let's see. Oh, wow. I would absolutely love to have at the dinner table Jesus, Paul, yeah. Okay, that's
Yeah, 3 more. 3 more.
I got stuck on that thought.
You got 3 more.
My grandpa. Yeah, I really would. My dad, my daddy. One more.
That's it.
Cameron.
Alive.
Dead or alive?
Well, I wouldn't be there. Obviously. I'm not eating that night.
No, but you can't be mad. She said Jesus, Cameron. She said Jesus.
Well, no, I'm not. Jesus gotta be there.
But get Paul out of there.
I'm not preemptive. I'm like 4 or 5 other people. Okay, I'm not eating that night. I'm eating by myself. No. I'm at the children's table.
I have one more person. That's you.
Okay, all right,
There we go.
Come into the table.
She saved it. All right, Cam, listen. Top 3 movies all time, non-Christian, Christian, whatever. Just movies, period. Top 3 movies all time.
Yes.
Cameron.
The Matrix, Chariots of Fire, and Ben-Hur.
Oh, that's
Wait, which Ben-Hur?
The original.
the original.
The original.
Okay, all right.
Test Ben-Hur.
Yeah, one of my favorite films ever. I love Ben-Hur, and well, The 10 Commandments is my favorite, but then I love him in Ben-Hur as well.
4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Casablanca, 10 Commandments, yeah.
BJ, what's your favorite season and why?
Oh gosh, I would say spring because I love to see the flowers pop. I love the sunsets in the spring and the sunrise, but especially the sunsets. I would say spring.
Do you deal with allergies?
Cold girl, I don't like.
Yeah, we don't do cold.
Oh. Do you deal with allergies?
No.
Oh, well,
That's why she likes spring.
Yeah. All right, this is for both of you guys. What's I'll let you go first, BJ, and then Cameron. What's one fact about your spouse that the general public does not know?
Obviously, something that can be told.
I mean,
Fact about your spouse. I'm second, right? Well, it'll be all depending on what she said.
That he is not as funny as me.
oh snap! Yeah, okay. I like that.
Okay.
Constant joking with the joke.
Mine is that every once in a while she lies. I am the funny one. Wow.
Yeah, this is like our big thing. I'm funnier, but I am funnier because okay, just who makes you laugh?
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna let her have that one. I'm gonna give another one.
Okay.
What people don't know about my spouse is that our grandchildren love me more.
Oh.
That's cold-blooded, Cameron.
That's the other thing.
You take a funny.
We came for the truth. We came for the beans.
Man.
We came for the beans. Listen, this is exactly why the general public, those who have gotten to know you via your films or online or dealing with you through, phone calls and management, this is why people love you as a couple. This is why people really appreciate who you two are. You're really a dynamic duo. And I really want to start this conversation off by just kind of going back in time a little bit to hear your story, brief story on how in the world did you guys meet?
Oh God.
You want brief?
Brief.
We got a lot to get through.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. So.
Okay. I was one of 3 models that were actually coming out of Miami to Atlanta. We traveled back and forth between Miami and here, and ended up meeting her on an audition that she was having for new models. And then she just said something really crazy off,
Something funny.
Raw kind of a thing. And I kind of got in her face, and then that was how we met.
No, he didn't kind of get in my face.
No, I got in her face because she was, I'm black woman, I'm, miss whatever. So I said, hey, not here, ain't happening, okay? And that's how we became friends because, she talks trash, and I'm like, I'm not going to have it. And that's how we met.
That's how we met.
Wow. I hope you're enjoying this interview. And if you are, please be sure to like this video. Don't forget to...
You're done. I got one more. Stay tuned for more interviews just like this.
I got more. Okay. I hope you're enjoying the interview. I hope you're enjoying this interview. And if you are, please be sure to like this video. Follow us and subscribe. For more content like this. Now let's get back to the interview. Let's do it.
So that phrase, happy wife, happy life. I am not a fan of it. I hate it. I hate it. But I am a fan of the phrase happy spouse, happy house. And I feel like it's definitely both ways. I feel like if both spouses can come together and find that joy, you have a much better house altogether. Home is great because it's not just about the woman being happy. I mean, you guys have to be happy together. And my joy comes from her. One thing Adana and I, one thing I always talk to Adana about, sometimes, or a lot, let me say sometimes, let's keep it real. 99% of the time, she does not meet my level of emotion.
Just excitement-ish because he's so extra, y'all. I mean, because he's an entertainer, he is. So he's he is fully the full embodiment of entertainment. And so when it comes to anything like that he's excited about, it's always like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. And I'm like, okay.
But it's not, but I'm not entertaining. I'm genuinely that emotional. I'm more emotional than she is to an extreme extent. We'll sit up here. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Toy Story 3, but okay. So Toy Story 3, there's a scene in that movie where Woody and Buzz and all the friends, they're in this fiery furnace and they're all going down, about to disintegrate into the fire. So they look around, they're holding hands with each other. I'm watching it. My tears are falling. I'm so sad. I'm like, no, not Woody and Buzz and them. And, and Adana's just sitting back I'm like, yo, legit. But I'm an emotional dude, and I'm a real emotional. So when she doesn't meet that level of emotion, that's one of the things that bothers me. We just had a devotion last night where we had to tell each other something that we want to work on.
Yes, that we want the other person to work on.
So that's one thing that she's going to genuinely.
Right, and that was my thing, because I mean, just in general, right, just growing up and stuff, that's not my personality. So I was talking to him and I was like, well, I will try to do this authentically, because I feel, because I could easily be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing,
I'm okay with that. For real? You can just pretend. Just as cool. Hey.
Oh my goodness.
Yo, you thought that joke was that funny? You still on the ground rolling laughing? That's what I'm talking about, girl.
But I want to be authentic. So it is definitely something that I'm going to work on and pray about and, talk to God about and see how we can work this thing out.
Absolutely. So let's dive on. Let's move on, you guys. So you guys have been working together now, not only have been together for 25 years, but you guys have been a team in work, in career, in life.
For 26 years, apparently, right? Because that's how you guys met. So
just tell us real briefly the dynamics of your relationship in a professional setting versus how do you separate, or do you separate working together in a professional way versus just knowing that you're husband and wife?
We don't compartmentalize stuff. I mean, all of it is one and the same. We've learned to make business pleasurable and also have joy on purpose, if that makes any sense. And so it's like, when we are vacationing, when we are having fun, we have fun on purpose. We don't bring any ministry with us. We can do whatever, but it's all one and the same in that it flows it flows together.
Yeah, it does.
So if we're having a completely, a blast somewhere, and ministry happens, it doesn't change. So we don't compartmentalize things all that much.
No, and like if we have things to talk about, it can, for business, it can go from the business of making sure our grandchildren understand that they stand on our shoulders and that, they're part of a legacy movement, to, how we, attaching ourselves to the next project that we know we heard God say. It's just, we don't try to say, okay, this is business. No, this is life.
Yeah.
This is the life of Pam and BJ.
Yeah.
And this is our life. So everything that we do, we make an understanding of this is our life. Now, he has had to help me a great deal with, we travel a lot. So we'll put an extra day on the front or on the back, and we travel a certain way to give our minds an attitude of rest and rejuvenation. And because I can be really silly, and I do things to him that are unexpected to him. I don't know why after 26 years, but I love making him laugh. So in the midst of us having a very serious conversation, I might do something just kooky-looky, and that just cracks us up. And then we continue on, and then we go back to concentrating on what we need to concentrate on. But, making sure that every trip is doing both things at the same time, because we're not a 14-headed monster. We are a couple who are in love with our Lord and in love with each other. So in everything that we do, we, on purpose, do it knowing that this is who we are.
And I think in the process too, we've learned, and especially for me, we've learned that we work differently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So for me, when I first came in from California and, we got married and everything else, I work a certain way, and I realized within the first year that she works a totally opposite of how I work, but it works for her. And so my job was not to make her like myself. My job was not to make her work how I do, and for her not to make me work like she does. And so we are different in that way, but we do it now together in tandem without any issues. But we have to discover that. And for me, I think that was one of the greatest blessings, is that I was able to discover it pretty early, because I had to make a mental choice. I'm very much to the point, that kind of thing. And so for her, she'll just go through the entire array, but the array works. It's one thing if she went to the array and then we didn't get any kind of results. So I had to be okay with that. And so when that happens, we just flow, and it's I'm the one who had to really learn that more than anything else, because that could have been an issue for us, but by the grace of God, it's like
You saw it.
One day I saw it, and then it just became butter.
I'm very relational. Even going to the grocery store, I take the time to notice a woman walking with her head down, but her hair is laid. So I stop her and I say, lady, I just need you to know, you are looking fabulous. Well, that makes a difference in that woman's life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that takes longer than going to pick up the one thing I went to pick up.
Right.
So my husband had to get accustomed to the fact that if I said I was going to the grocery, I was really going to minister, but it looked like a grocery.
And that's the ministry too. You know,
Yeah.
Donna be trying to get me to minister, going to get groceries
He
too.
don't like
I hate
he
it.
don't like that ministry.
Hell, that's not my ministry.
That's not his ministry, BJ.
See,
He be like, you got 5 items, babe. I'm like,
that's
okay.
it. And I need, because what I hate is she be telling me to get stuff and I don't know where it be at. So I'm like, what am I supposed? Give me 5 things and I better know where they at.
And I'm like, just read the signs at the top
I
of
ain't got
the
time to read
aisles.
signs.
That's all you have to do.
Look, I'm not going to go in her purse, let alone to the supermarket. Okay? I'm not.
She will not go in my purse.
She'll tell me, get this out my purse. I will go get the purse.
That's
I don't either.
him.
I do the same thing, Cameron. I don't go in that thing. I don't even need to.
Because then he'd be like, oh, it's not there.
It don't even be there half the time.
Told me.
It's always there.
It's not always. Nah.
It's not there. I'm saying I'm not digging for it.
Right.
But I'm not putting my hand go. No.
No, I'm good. Listen, you guys, if you're enjoying this, please be sure to make sure you are following and subscribing and liking this video here. SONset Friday Live. You can follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Be sure to share this video so that others can see this amazing couple. We're about to dive into some more things right here with them. Listen, so before we dive, I want to dive into your new movie coming out with the Kendrick Brothers, The Forge. I want to talk about some of any other projects you have going on. But before I do, let me ask you this real quick. BJ, so what is your, not just BJ, but both of you guys, what is your stance on Cameron kissing on film? Because I know there's some shorties out there who are like, yo, I wouldn't mind doing the kissing scene with Cameron. We need to talk about this. Let them know.
Is he shorty?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All that shorties, no.
I don't know who them shorties at.
We're talking the world, yo. The world. That's the world. This is okay for the world, right? So from your stance, remember this is Christian life and entertainment, and so we want people to take a dive and understand what is the real insight on that aspect of things as from your faith perspective.
And we share this quite a bit, and I share this with even team members who are on set with us for different things and people that I manage. We came together and made a list of non-negotiables before all of this burst out the way that it has. And one of the number one non-negotiable was that intimacy is here. That's it. So that included the kiss, even a certain way to demonstrate an intimate moment. In today's film and television land, it is anything goes. But if we go back to 50s, 60s, everything was put in such a way that your imagination took it to its next level. You didn't have to see it. What we understood was that we have to protect our relationship and our commitment to our Father. Mm-hmm. So it was what's your commitment to your daddy God? Then what is your commitment to one another? And that list was essential to us and still is.
Yeah, I think I've had in all these films and series and stuff that I've done so far, I think I may have had maybe 3, 4 at the most times that I've been partnered with another person that was playing my wife. But kissing is never an option, that kind of intimacy, even in touching, is never an option.
Right.
I can't even think of any time that I've had that be a part of the film, the script, that has been an issue at all. By the grace of God, too, working with people who have the same perspective, then there's not an issue. It's when you would end up with someone who says that they're Christian and then anything goes.
Right.
Well, that would be a brick wall. But the bottom line is that now we haven't had that issue, nor is it something that we would even entertain.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We don't get somebody else.
Absolutely. So Adon and I, we have a similar situation. I mean, from the start of our marriage, we established a relationship boundaries.
That was
things.
before the start of our marriage. Like, just even in dating, there were like things like, oh, no going to the library with the opposite sex after this time. Like, because we were still in college, you know? So there were aspects of things that we put in place that we
because them library thing, like, they be faking on the library. I'll tell her, back in college, I'll be like, yo, you want to go study, girl? Let's go on over to the bookshelf area.
Oh
we can study. The library. So for us, we was like, look, babe. I was like, babe. I want to honor her at the same time. Her honoring me by making sure that we don't find ourselves alone with the opposite sex. It's fine to go out and wherever, but when you're alone, specifically more in a more intimate situation, that's the things that we wanted to stay away from. And, that's maintained throughout the 15 years of marriage. We ain't got y'all yet, but we coming.
Well, case in point with what you're talking about now, to understand how important that is and how we say that things are outside of us that become an issue. Even for me, well, for both of us, but for me, especially, like I as far as the acting is concerned, part of our non-negotiable is when I go somewhere, my driver is only a male. So in order not to be in the same place with the opposite sex, those kind of things. And so when you do that, people look at you like you're strange. But and we've had to be adamant about it at points in time, which made other people uncomfortable. But it's one of those things that we've decided that we've agreed on.
And what's funny about it when I'm working through the contracts and I'm saying this to a producer director, I can almost hear through the phone the light go on. Ooh, I got it. I understand. And that's when you gained a brother and sister in Christ further than just a contract for a film. They get it, because if you don't think of these things before, you find yourself in a position that you can't handle, just like being at the library behind the bookshelf.
Behind the bookshelf. The thing about it, though, is that it's not even a matter of not trusting the other person.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, shunning every appearance of evil.
Yes. Yep.
And also you end up safeguarding what somebody else might think, even though, when you're dealing with people that you really know well, and it's like it's no big deal, and you know that, that's not what it's about. There's a safeguarding, there's an appearance of evil, that's people not being able to say that anything inappropriately occurred, and you not having to have to prove it.
Right.
That kind of thing.
So listen, Cameron, you've had so many roles, Cameron, and you've got to share with the world so many different aspects of your talent. It's really, I want to touch on 3 of your films in particular that really are interesting. One is Overcomer. You played the role of Thomas Hill in the Kendrick Brothers film Overcomer. And I do want to touch on working with the Kendrick Brothers as well. But before I do, in that role, you had to play a blind man. I want to hear from you in particular, and then also BJ, if you can chime in from the behind the scenes of the preparation for that role. What does that prep look like, and how did you dive into a role where you had to play a blind man?
When I was acting in LA, in California, of course, as a secular actor, you do things a certain way. which is why they get in trouble all the time. And God had to teach me how to act from a God perspective. So the way that I come about stuff now is totally different. I achieve it by being scripturally correct, because anything that I do scripturally correct in my mind, I can take home and I can live out. But when I go the secular dark way, then it affects me negatively, so I can't do that anymore. And so when it came to Thomas Hill, God gave me 2 scriptures that I use as a foundation. One is that we walk by faith, not by sight. And so that became part of my subtext and understanding. I dove into that. What does that mean? I kind of got that into my fiber. But also it was that while we look at not at the things that are seen, but things that are not seen, but things that are seen are temporal, things not seen are eternal. And so I had to be able to mentally, physically have a perspective of what that means and what that looks like as a person who could see but not go by anything that I did see. The same way that as a man of faith, I can see what's going on, but I'm only going by what God said. So it's only the inside that stimulates my belief, not the outside. So we live by faith, we walk by faith, not by sight. So that became part of the spiritual understanding that was able to be translated into a physical understanding. So even though people were walking around me, I could only use the attributes that were allowable for that. And so so you can see it, but the stimuli just could not come through your eyes. So that's kind of how I went about that from a internal perspective. But also then, of course, I did a lot of research as far as blind people studying that. And then I did a lot of practicing. Okay, so, she can tell you a little bit about that, but, I would go, even when we would travel, I'd be at the airport and I'd go into the whole blindness perspective, see if I can pull it off in public, and so.
Wait, hold on. Okay, wait, don't roll past that.
How'd that work, BJ?
Let me just say, when my husband is working on his craft, he don't always tell assistants. So his loving wife is serving him dinner, and I take him his plate, and I'm trying to hand him. I don't know if I had a glass in my. Yeah, I had the plate and the glass. I'm trying to hand, and he's like, "What's happening here?" And then, you know how you want to pop somebody up the back of the head? I wanted to do that, but he was blind, so I give it to him, and I was like, oh, okay, he's in the mode. Let it happen. So I adjusted to what he was doing so that he could work it through, because I was there, but I wasn't there. So he had to literally work it through. The funny part to me was seeing him do it at the airport, because then I got to see, like I'm standing on the outside and I'm watching the reaction of people to really are thinking he is blind. But the tremendous part of and that's probably one of the favorite roles that I have of him. The tremendous part for me was hearing a woman who worked with blind people say to him she thought he was actually blind, and she was just going to thank the Kendricks for actually hiring a blind actor.
Wow.
And to me that was, yes, the work that he did at home, whether I was in the home or not, like he had to decide how he was going to move and not recognize any other action that I might make. So that to me was fascinating to watch him do.
So a little behind the scenes. So a little behind the scenes story for the people out there. So I went on the audition for Overcomer, and I was auditioning for the same role as Cameron Thomas Hill, and it was cool. So I went to the audition, the waiting area, and I see Cameron. And at that time, we're not as cool as we are now, but I knew him, from social media. So I said, hey, what's going on? I said, hi, we dapped each other up, whoop-de-woo. And so I was like, all right, they called me in. So I go in there and I audition for Thomas Hill. Now, let me just say this. After seeing you, Cameron, play that role, I understand exactly why I didn't get it.
Role?
No, why I didn't get it.
Right, why Cameron got the
So
role?
I walked up in that room. Hold on, let me tell you how stupid this was. This is how dumb. So I walked into the room, right? I thought I was being smooth with it. I was like, this is so embarrassing, but I'm gonna tell the story because it's funny. So I walked in the room. I was like, oh snap! Hold on, I'm there. Hold on. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. So I go up in the audition room, right? And I'm like, you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I walk up in there, but I'm like, all right, God, I want to do something cool, right? Sometimes God lets you do something that he knows is going to make you look stupid to humble you and for whatever reason he got. So I walked up in the room. I was like this. They called me in. I was like this. Had my eyes closed and I was like this. I was feeling around. I was like, you good? You good? And so I walked up in there and it was like, come here, come stand here. And I walked over there. I was stumbling over stuff. And it was like, all right, do your piece. So I auditioned with my eyes closed, looking down. And they probably, my eyes was closed, but I know they was looking at me like this.
What is going
What is this fool? What is this fool doing?
on?
So, but here's the cool part, right? So when I opened my eyes and I began to speak, everyone in the room, they felt the energy and they felt my personality. So they wanted to give me another shot. They said, you know what? We want you to just step outside for about 10 minutes.
Collect yourself.
get your act together and come back and do it again because we like you, but that was a mess. That's not what they said.
That's what they were thinking.
That's not what they said, but I'm in their head. So anyway, long story short, I did that. Needless to say, I never got a call back for the role. But when I saw that Cameron Arnett got it, it alleviated everything. I was like, all right, I'm good. My guy got that role, and I'm so glad that God put you there because you killed it. Let me slide over to the next film, and we're going to wrap this up soon. But I want to talk about The Perfect Christmas. That's another role that the world has not seen you in. So The Perfect Christmas is a film by us, SONset Friday Entertainment, but it's a story about the perfect family and their adventures throughout Christmas. Well, Cameron plays the role of Stanley. He's the grandfather of the perfect kids, and he's the stepfather, or not stepfather. He's the father-in-law to Michael Perfect, who plays myself. So we play father and son. But in that role, you had to dive into a role where you got to tap a little bit more into your native tongue, let's just say. So you are a Haitian man, and you're able to dive into an Haitian accent. Tell us a little bit about preparing for that role and your thoughts on just diving into that from that perspective.
Man, I tell you what, and my wife will tell you, my mom is a character. Okay, that woman is hilarious, but has a deep, thick, Haitian accent. And every once in a while, she'll be talking to her, and she'll forget that she's talking to her, and she's gonna talk to her in Creole. We'll go a full 10 minutes. You're talking to her in Creole. So, oh, baby, you should tell me. I forget. And so I had to really hone in on, check her out, listen to her differently. I even at a certain point, there were certain parts of the script that I would have her say it for me. Right? I tell her, I say it to her, and I hear her inflection, those kind of things. And so I brought her to the table. But, that is, because all my life, I get to hear it, but in the Haitian perspective, you're not allowed to speak to your elders in Creole. You can only speak back in French. And so they'll talk to you, but you don't have the right, at least not while I was growing up. Now it's a free-for-all, you know what I'm saying? Like, all things, go crazy. But as a young boy coming up, I could hear it, but I couldn't speak it.
Why is that?
I have the opportunity to speak to her.
Why is that? Why was Creole so special?
It was considered disrespectful. Because French is actually the native language of Haitians. Creole was considered a dialect to the slave man. Okay, it was the broken, but it wasn't only broken language. It was like the language of the poor, the language of the misfits, and those kind of things. And it wasn't written. Okay, it was only spoken. And it's not until I was, in my 20s and 30s maybe, that I think Creole actually became a written language, a written accepted language. So as a child growing up, that was not acceptable. You had to speak in French because all of your studies in Haiti were in French if you went to school.
Gotcha.
Okay, so all of that, but so I picked that up from her. But on Perfect Christmas, what I really want to talk about is Perfect Christmas 2. Because I see the two of us having a road trip. And us having to deal with each other from the Haitian and the American, that
their father-in-law.
In a car.
Oh, snap.
In a car.
Just us two. And all the mess. Oh, snap. Oh.
I see road trip. I don't know if both of us make it back.
Don't give them too much. Don't give them too much.
It's a scary road trip.
Listen, first of all, real quick question. BJ, are you American naturally or from anywhere else?
I'm from Louisville, Kentucky.
Yes, all right. So shout out to you. So right here, I'm from Denver, Colorado. But Adana, she's Trinidadian. And I have a similar situation where her father, real life father-in-law situation for me, he has a really strong Trinidadian accent. And I remember the first time meeting him. Oh my gosh. So I was terrified. Let's just start with that first. So I was scared. And so I go into the house and I remember sitting down at this dining room area and I remember hearing these steps, walking down the steps. It was like a real movie. Like I need to write this in a movie for real. I remember coming downstairs, he turned the corner and I see this man and he said something to me in his accent.
No idea what he said.
I had no idea what this brother said. I looked at Adana and I was like, yes, sir. Like I didn't know what to say. And so he began to speak. And it took me a good 3 years to finally start to understand better. Because he's speaking English is perfectly fine. It's just his accent's so strong. So I feel you. It's a unique situation. Let's dive into this last film. Let's talk about The Forge. Oh my. So, I think the world is excited about this film. There's a lot going on right now. Do we know the release date?
August 23rd.
August 23rd. So The Forge releasing nationwide in theaters August 23rd. This is the Kendrick Brothers film. Excuse me. It is kind of I would say, or maybe they would say a branch off of War Room, kind of a situation.
It's in the War Room universe.
War Room universe. So we want to hear a little bit about you guys' experience with this film, specifically both of you, because both of you appear in this film. And I'm excited that you guys, is this the first film that you guys are actually in working on together?
No. This is like, I think, the fourth.
Yeah.
As husband and wife?
As husband and wife, the third?
Maybe.
They done lost count. You and your 85 credits. All right. So the point is, on The Forge, you guys get to work together in this event, in this film. Tell us a little bit about your experience working on this film and what, without any spoilers, can we expect coming from this film for those who are going to see it?
Well, first of all, we tried to kiss as many times as possible. I think we need to do I tell folks every time I got an opportunity to kiss my wife on set in a movie and get paid for it. So it's like it's all good. But again, working with the Kendricks, man, I tell folks all the time, these guys don't only make good movies, they live the life of the movie that they make. And so that's crucial and that's exceptional and it's different. And so we are extremely blessed to be a part of that kind of filmmaking, and we see it, kind of fall into so many other people that we work with.
Yeah.
So because so many if you look at them, they're almost like they're not old enough to be the grandfathers of, but because God has just blown his breath upon them and they've had such a great success, they're basically the prototype for so many people. And I think that the good part of it is that the internal aspect of the behind the scene aspect of being true men and women of God is also permeating throughout the industry, the Christian industry. It's not that people are just making good films now, is that you can see the effect of, prayer on the set and loving each other and, working with each other in such a way, how that is permeated within the other filmmakers that understand the beauty of having that kind of camaraderie and oneness and Christ-likeness on set. So, having the opportunity to do that as a husband and wife, and be in a film that is so much our heart.
Yeah.
We're disciples. We've always been disciples. We believe in discipling.
That's how how we began in ministry together when we first got married. So when this script came along, it blew us away because this is what God gave us when we started in ministry together. We pastored almost 2 decades. The entire foundation of our ministry was discipleship. So it so resonated with us that it's kind of like we looked at each other and we said, okay, we see what God's doing, because it wasn't a film to us. It was, this is how
life on screen.
Life on screen.
So real quick, so before we touch on that, the Kendrick Brothers themselves. So I see the Kendrick Brothers, and this is not blasphemous, okay? I see the Kendrick Brothers as like Elijah. And I see myself as Elisha. And I'm just like, let me get a little bit of that juice. Because at the end of the day, they're my top 3 favorite filmmakers. And reason being is because simply they have the favor of God. At the end of the day, nothing else matters. When you have the favor of God, you have everything that you need. And they've been consistent in their at least public walk with Christ and with God and with their work that they're doing. So I appreciate them and what they do. But let's talk about the Forge. So this is very black. So there's a lot of black people in this joint, It's and I'm loving it. I love it. Another thing I respected about the Kendrick Brothers, when they came out with War Room, you guys have to understand, when they came with War Room, they went to some executives in Hollywood and said, I want to make a film that features black people. And they was like,
and about prayer.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. But it was with black people. And so I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's about prayer or not, because at the end of the day, once certain people in high positions hear that something stars black people, a lot of times you get resistance on that level. But God has favor with them. And so they took War Room. God took War Room. He made it where it is. And now we have The Forge, and it has a large African-American cast involved. Obviously, there's other people in the film as well, not African-American. But being part of this film, just briefly, again, what can people expect from The Forge? What can people look forward to? Is there a central theme in this film that you want to get out?
Yeah, I think people can, when you preach a sermon, when you teach, you still have to formulate an understanding of how do I apply this, And for the most part, especially in this modern age, there's so many voices, so many things, and people can't always grasp how do I apply. What I love about the film is that you get a bird's eye view, you get a visual of how do I disciple, how does this work, how is this made real, And so it's really the command of God, the mandate of God upon the church brought to life on screen. And you get to sit there and see the excellence of not only discipling, but the excellence of filmmaking, the excellence of acting. You get to see the whole spectrum of God in all of these people, and yet get fed while being entertained by the Word of God. And it's just a man, you sit there kind of like amazed at what God has done, can do, because, you know, to be able to tell that story so excellently and to make it so vibrant for the viewers, if you're a Christian, you'd have to not be a Christian to not get so overwhelmed by the message and by the way this thing is presented, because it should revolutionize the church for years to come. It really should, because this is what God has left us here to be and to do, and it comes across, you know,
Beautifully.
beautiful.
It really does. You know, when you take a look at all the things that could have been said in terms of a story with a black cat, the beauty in which this story is delivered is a testament to what God is doing. Whether you understand how quickly he's moving or not, he's still moving, and he is still moving very quickly. There are pieces of this film that anyone can connect with, and you know, I'm very aware that, you know, we've got to reach people where they are, but we can't leave them where they are. And this film will not leave you where you are. You will be affected.
Tell us about Aspen Kennedy. Aspen Kennedy, for those who don't know, Aspen Kennedy is actor in The Forge. He is playing the role of Isaiah Wright. Just tell us real quick, briefly, tell us about Aspen Kennedy. Who is this guy? And do I need to have him in my next movie? Like, what's going on? What's happening?
You need to have him in your next 3 movies.
Okay.
Great guy.
Aspen is not only a great guy, man of God, you know, newlywed, you know, wonderful husband and wife team, excellent actor. You know, people are going to get introduced to someone that God is introducing to everyone.
Yeah.
And that would be the way that I would describe him. He has the inner core of Christ, and he's got chops, you know. And so, you know, I was talking to TC the other day, and I was just dealing with the fact that, you know, again, within this film, you have 3 generations of men, and it's, you know, and I don't mean only the 3 of us, but there's all throughout the film. But when you take a look at the actors from War Room to Overcomer to this, you know, myself, TC, and Aspen, we're all in 3 different age brackets, you know, but God is doing the same thing through each one and every one of us. And when I take a look at TC and I look at Aspen, I am like so thrilled and amazed at young, black, excellent, talented men of God who are sold out to Jesus, that can carry the weight of fame and not lose their minds.
Yeah.
You know, and married and just, you know, what example. So yeah, I look forward to everything that God is going to do through Aspen in the same way that I'm watching what God is doing through TC, and it's just beautiful to be a part of watching that and being able to you know, to whatever extent that I can, be a father to them, because they're the ones that are going to really run and you know, and make people, you know, take notice. You know, I mean, I think of, you know, and I know not because we're on this show, but again, you know, you and I have always talked, and you know, in the past, and I said, dude, you know, you're the real deal. the humor, the ability to write, the ability to act, all that kind of stuff that as a filmmaker, it's almost like when you talk about actors, you talk about triple threats, whether you can sing, dance, and act. But again, for a person like yourself, it's, can write, can direct, can produce, can, all of the above. And to watch that kind of stuff in younger men like yourselves coming up in this thing, that's a joy for us,
And so it also gives you a point of, you can take a breath. Because you know it's in good hands.
Wow.
That's good.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, we're not the end. We're really only the beginning of watching all of what God is bringing up. It's and Aspen's just one of those guys as well.
Awesome. Thank you for saying that. I mean, the first time I saw Aspen Candy was in The Night Before Christmas. It was a Kirk Franklin film. He played a homeless man, I believe.
Was he the drummer?
He was the drummer. Yeah. Did he really drum?
I don't know.
They might have had some fake hands in there for the drums. Aspen, if you watch this, we got to get you on the show right here, SONset Friday Live, and ask you, was you really drumming?
Multi-tracks in the background.
But I did see the Forge trailer, which, by the way, if you guys have not seen the Forge trailer yet, be sure to check that out. You can catch it on YouTube, Facebook, anywhere in the world. Go to IMDb, you can see it. But if on that trailer, I think I seen him get up a shot too, like basketball. So I was like,
he plays.
No.
Perfect.
No, he is for real.
So all I'm saying, that's nice. I'm just saying, around here they call me like LeBron or Maryland, so it's like it's a real thing. Like I can.
He's like so serious.
No, it's a I'm challenging Aspen. I'm challenging TC. I'm challenging anybody. Oh yeah. I'm challenging Steph Curry. I don't care. I'm challenging anybody who think they can. Who I can legit. Matter of fact, just last night I was hooping. I was playing basketball with a friend of mine, Mario, in the game. Hit 4 game winners last night. And
they actually got it on camera.
And I got it on camera.
They actually got it on camera.
Let them know. Let them know.
He's actually pretty good, actually. So I don't say this often enough.
Thank you. So I'll take a win when I can get it, Cameron.
I think just going back to when you were talking about like the generations, what legacy, I guess, do you expect to leave whenever you do decide? What is the legacy that you want or expect to leave for the Christian entertainment world?
I want to leave by people being able to look at someone, just like we look at the Kendrick as example. I want people to be able to realize and know by the life of Kanye and BJ Arnett that we are people who are in love with Jesus, so much so that we are willing to do whatever he says, whenever he says, however it comes out, no matter the result. And I want to leave a legacy of the church realizing how much God is in love with them and how powerful, how important, how spectacular the church is, and that God is faithful, and that if you will believe and trust him, there's nothing that you can't do.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, Cameron and BJ Arnett.
Oh man, what a blessing. What a blessing. Thank you so much, you guys.
Glory to God for good times, big laughs. The godly life we strive. Turn it up for the king right here on SONset Friday Live. Let's go. Hey. SONset Friday. SONset Friday. SONset